Good evening and welcome to The Square. Tonight's conversation is a third-part series, actually four-part series, where we are profiling for the fourth time young entrepreneurs in Rwanda. We're here to listen to the things that inspire them to go on these entrepreneurial journeys, and we're also going to look at some of the challenges they faced and generally learn more about the work that they do. And joining us here, we have two young people who are involved in entrepreneurship, and I'm going to start with the gentleman on my left. We have with us Nelly Sugu, who is the CEO and co-founder of Room, as well as Coding 0 to 100. Nelly, welcome to The Square.
Thank you.
We are also joined here with Jeanne d'Arc Umulisa. Jeanne d'Arc is the founder of Noble Women Initiative, and she's also the coordinator for African women entrepreneurs in Rwanda. Now, Jade Jeanne d'Arc?
Whatever.
Okay, because I know you personally as Jade.
Yes.
Jeanne d'Arc, welcome to The Square.
Thank you so much.
Great to have you too. My name is Denan Pisi, host of The Square. As always, I'm joined by our resident panelists who make up The Square on a permanent basis, and Berna Namata is one of them. Berna, always a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
We're also joined by Charles Haba, also a resident panelist. Always a pleasure to have you.
Dana, how are you?
Good.
Good.
Before we kick off, as we always do, we want to share some midweek highlights, and this has been a very eventful week. I keep on saying 2020 is really not a year that came to play. It's really eventful. Is there anything you'd like to share this week?
I wish there was anything, because there's just too much. You know, before the show came up, I was like, I wish this was the last Wednesday of the month where we're just talking about burning issues.
Yeah.
There's just too much happening.
Yeah.
Do you pick do you pick a show of a story of the week as the leadership retreat starting with 3 to 5 people less? Do you,
in cabinet?
Yes, in cabinet. Do you pick the historic meeting coming up in Katuna after tomorrow? Do you pick the release of the 13 more guys? Do you pick the fact that Rwanda has also released some Ugandans? There's just too much happening.
Okay,
I think,
pick one.
Yeah.
Pick one.
I wish I could, but I'm extremely concerned by coronavirus. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
She looks surprised.
Yes, I'm surprised because that's not what was in the script
At all. Is there anything you'd like that has caught your attention in the weeks thus far that you'd like to share?
Yes, the opening statement to the leadership retreat. And this is because quite often there's a lot of speculation around issues. So it was good to set the record straight, you know, on several levels. A lot of young people getting involved. And I think we take it for granted, involving young people. You just have to look around the continent and see, you know, the gap. Most young people are actually on social media trying to get, their voices out there, and nobody's listening. So if you have leadership that actually takes on the responsibility to engage the youth, I think, that was quite impressive.
And you actually echo Mzee Tito Rutaremara's words, who was on the show last week, when he told us, you really have to appreciate your society where we have young people, you know, in serious leadership positions. And yeah, it's interesting how they've involved them at this leadership retreat. And I think it's the first time where they actually even focus groups involving young people, like you said earlier on. So it's great stuff to hear.
Yeah.
Hopefully this youth-led, Charles, youth-led positions will battle the coronavirus.
We'll talk about that as the show progresses, because Tito had amazingly interesting ones to say last week. And on second thoughts, I think it would have been nice if he had been part of this show.
And maybe perhaps for the youth to appreciate the challenge, you know, before them. Because if you're being empowered, it's also another thing to actually embrace the challenge and actually take on, you know, whatever responsibilities that are assigned to you. Yeah.
Fantastic. So we're going to start by, you know, listening to you young people. I have to say, and I think I speak on behalf of the Square's resident panelists, so whenever we have youth entrepreneurs coming on the show, we're just wowed by the work, the thinking, the mindset, the energy. So we're really also looking forward to hearing from you, as I'm sure our viewers are. And I'll start with you, Nelly Sugu, Sugira. I'll call you Nelly. And you're a presidential scholarship graduate with a Bachelor of Science in Electrical and Computer Engineering from the US. You recently returned. And upon your return to Rwanda, you founded Virtual Room, I think that's what it stands for. It's a virtual reality arcade located at KBC building in Katiru. And then you're also a founder of Coding 0 to 100, which teaches young people how to code and design applications. In addition to this, you created Amaturufu, which, as you all know, Amaturufu is card games. And Nelly here got this Rwandan card game and made it an online game.
In your phone,
So there's an app for Amaturufu.
Yeah.
You'll talk more about it. Basically, you have a lot under your belt. So if you could just tell us more and our viewers what inspired this journey of entrepreneurship that you're currently on.
I wish there was a day where I woke up and I'm like, man, I'm about to build a bunch of cool stuff. That never happened.
Okay.
It was just curiosity. So, we're talking about being blessed and just having the platform and being empowered, right? So to me, I think it all started really back home. I remember I was really good at science and math. And you know how here our parents, they're pushing us to study and go to school, that's the legacy really. And I just took that and I actually enjoyed school. And then I remember, I'll go home and the first day of school, first primary school, came back, I think the 24th. My older sister was the 12th. And then my dad was like, so what happened? Like, why aren't you the first? And those kids have one hand like you do. They got two hands like you do. Why can't you be the first? I don't know. That stuck with me. So basically when I see stuff, I'm like, man, whoever did it, they have one head, 2 arms, 2 legs. So if they can do it, I think I can. They probably were exposed to things that I wasn't, but if I'm exposed to the same things and I put in as much work as I can, because sometimes you're left behind because you're not exposed to something. But if you put in that work, I think I can. So that really drove me. But the other part of it is, again, just exposure, empowerment. So I didn't really do nothing apart from going to school and getting some good grades to get the presidential scholarship. So to me, that launched me. Because then that took me from Rwanda, where I grew up, and exposed me to something totally different, right? And when I was there, I was just curious. So I wanted to be a doctor, like a surgeon. I wanted to be like a heart surgeon or brain surgeon, right? But when I got to the States, I found out I had a 4-year scholarship. I didn't know where the other money to pay for the extra 8 years was gonna come from. So I said, I'm gonna do something with 4 years. And so I was like, so what else do you guys have? They're like, oh, there was engineering and all that, and they were like, there's computer engineering. So at that point, I'm like, computer engineers. I didn't have really a whole lot of access to computers when I got to the States. I was literally chicken typing and everything. But I remember sending an email to one of my aunts. She lived in Germany, and I was at a cyber cafe, and then she replied. I remember I went there the next week, and I was reading things that she was replying to what I sent. To me, that blew my mind, because how is it possible that somebody that's across the ocean can actually read something? I didn't mail it, but I kind of did in the email. So when they said they have computer, I was like, yo, those are the people that deal with emails.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. So from there, I just got curious. And then, fast forward, I was in college, did all that stuff. But then, you go to school, you learn, but you learn a bunch of theoretical stuff. So I wanted to just practice what I just learned. And, I started working. And when I started working, at that point, I got a smartphone, got an iPhone for the first time, right? And I remember I would send my friends money using a bank app. That blew my mind. Like, how do I have a bank in this little thing? How does it even get there? Like, I don't know if anybody ever wondered, like, hey, you download it, but how does it do all those things? I couldn't sleep without figuring that out. So I kept just finding out. So that on my beautiful card game, really, it was just, I stumbled on it. So I was trying to figure out how to make an app. And I was learning left, right, nothing clicked. And then one of my friends, his name was is Ryan, worked together. I'll go make my round, say what's up to my coworkers, and then he was crumped down just doing something. I'm like, yo, what are you doing? So I'm playing a game. He looked stupid. I'm like, what game? It's like, oh, this game I grew up playing. I'm like, what? Who did it? It's like, I made it. So here I was, literally standing next to somebody that made an app, what I was kind of like excited and fascinated about. So from there, I was like, okay, teach me. How did you learn? How did you do it? He told me what to go look up. I left work early. I slept at like 5 a.m. in the morning. I could not go to sleep. And then that's when I started working on my tool, and then it ended up becoming a game, and, like hundreds, thousands of people. Like I have emails from people from Rwandans in India telling me like, oh, thank you so much for doing this because I have great kids after they go to school. I have nothing else to do, but I play this game. And to me, it became that thing. It was like, oh my God, it's possible. I have one head, 2 hands. So from there, then I started just like, okay, I feel like I can do anything that I want, really anything. You put like, it's a cliche, but I believe that given time, anything you want, you can do. So I put that to test. So when I went to the States, I didn't know a whole lot of people. I love playing basketball, but then, the United States is kind of like big and everybody knows their friends. So if you have no friend, you have no people to play with. So it was hard for me to find people to play basketball with. But then I figured, man, I get an Uber, I don't know the driver. So why can't I make it so that I could basically Uber other people to play ball with? So I made an app that basically connected me with anybody within a 15-mile radius of any basketball court to play basketball. And then I found out, again, luck, like this is just curiosity, like I can do it. So to me, I'm solving my own problem, right? So I'm using technology to solve my own problems. And then I'm in Sacramento, I'm teaching at UC Davis. I'm teaching basically people how to, make apps and whatever, right? One of my students, so they graduated Friday. He asked me to stay Saturday. I was supposed to leave Friday. He said, Nelly, I have this event. It's sponsored by Facebook. It's a Facebook developer circle thing. And I want you to be here. I'm proud of my students. I stay. Literally, like, it's charity almost. Like, I just want to support. So I'm there, and this kid introduces that Facebook is running a hackathon, a global hackathon, challenging people to make apps that connect community. I'm like, there were basically like 60-something people have reserved, but I think 12 people showed up. I was one of those 12 people. I think I was supposed to be there because I was making an app that connected communities. I submitted that basketball app, guess what? It won first place in the whole North America, Canada, America. About 200-something people that were competing. I won first place and won third place in the world.
Wow.
Facebook gave me about like $16,000.
Wow.
I'm like, okay, man. One head, 2 arms, And then as part of that, they invited me to go to, their conference by FA's, Facebook conference, right? And everybody, again, just luck, man. Everybody that was at that place, they got a virtual reality headset for free because they make it. So they ended up sending them the mail. I got this thing. I've never put one on. I mean, I've seen it on movies sometimes, but I've never put this thing on.
The virtual reality headset.
Yeah, headset. Yes. So I took it, turned around, turned it. I mean, I'm just, just fiddling with it, right? Put it on, and man.
Your life changed.
I mean, literally. Because how do you explain? Like, I was sitting in Boston in my apartment, and I was touring the Eiffel Tower, like in France, like in the streets. Yeah. And I'm sitting and I feel like I'm about to fall because I'm so high up and my stomach cramps. I mean, you're inside the environment. So to me, that blew my mind. I'm like, man, what can I do with this? So then I did start rolling. And then when they started rolling, I went back to when I was here without a computer. When I went to do electrical computer engineering, it was so hard for somebody to teach you how to make a computer, how to design computers, how to design chips that go into a computer without exposure to a computer. So when I saw these virtual reality headsets and all these virtual, like, you watch Netflix, you're literally in a mansion, this whole thing is your screen. I mean, I watched the NBA game sitting courtside. seeing LeBron dunk, and I'm like, oh, whoa, whoa. You feel like you can touch him. So I saw that was the future of technology as far as how people consume media. And then I was like, given how Africa always catches up when it comes to technology, I was like, this is not going to be in Africa where the regular person can have access to this in the next 10 years, because more than like 80% of West world, they haven't even tried it. So it's kind of like, it's kind of like elite right now.
Yes.
So I mean, if I take you home, then I make it accessible to everybody. In 5 years, when this is a thing, Rwanda could be making virtual reality apps and kids could be making money off of this thing, right? But then there was another piece too where I was literally visiting Paris from Boston without moving. So I realized with all the history that Africa has, with all the history that Rwanda has, right? We're playing a game against the CNNs, putting up all these, videos, trying to create a better image of our countries. But we're fighting an uphill battle because a lot of people that created these, this media that's running the CNNs, the BBCs, they have a bigger budget than our country. So how do you fight the game using their weapons, right? Because they're showing, like I remember first in college, right? Having roommates. And they asked me, Nelly, how did it feel to see cars for the first time?
Oh, wow. the usual...
Yeah, because what they see on TV is a kid from Sudan, skinny, wiping some flies and everything. That is, to the majority of people, because they watch Fox News. They watch whatever they're showing them. So I said, what if we took them to Rwanda, where they are? Because I went to Paris from Boston.
So virtual reality, on Rwanda.
Yeah, take Rwanda, put it in virtual reality, and somebody in Turkey could sit and see what Rwanda feels like.
And you don't stop in Rwanda, it could be for the rest of
the whole
Africa.
Yeah, the whole continent.
I think we can listen to Sugu. The whole thing. But thank you very much. Yeah, we're definitely going to get into a bit more detail, especially with the virtual reality you set up here, the stories at KBC in Kachiru. But yes, Jade, if we can hear from you, glad to have you on the show. We've known each other for quite a while, and the work that you do is, from civil service to public sector, and now you're in private sector, I think, to a certain degree. So if you can tell us more about this journey you began, founding Noble Women Initiative, what it does, but most importantly, if you can also share with us this new program that you won a grant to do from the U.S. Embassy here in Kigali, the Academy for Women Entrepreneurs in Rwanda, that you are now coordinating. So if you can share more on AWE and a bit on Noble Women's Initiative.
Yeah, thank you so much. So as you mentioned, I was a civil servant. I worked in the Prime Minister's office, then the Minister of Gender. And before that, I studied economics in South Korea. And then when I came back, I was assigned to work in the Ministry of Gender as the Director of Planning. And then I saw something came in my mind, the way, we see women as vulnerable people, yet we have a lot of potentials and we can do a lot of things. And something came in my mind that women should be empowered to do whatever they want to do, and then also finding their true identity and work from, like when women work or think about something, they always think from their heart. They do things from their emotions, and when they're involved in something, they do it with their heart, with their strength. Yeah, so I started thinking that I must start empowering young girls, and as well as women, of course. And I started volunteering here and there, mentoring. But then when I started Noble Women, my mind went in empowering women and helping them unlock their potentials. Mm-hmm. So that's why I founded Noble Women, and this business is a social business, and Noble Women is a social business, and it's I call it as a symbol of economic boost, and our program are designed to equip and unlock women's potentials, and mostly talk with women from heart to heart, you know, and our business is founded on our belief and values, which are strength and dignity. Because I think once a woman starts claiming and living whatever she wants to live and claiming her dignity and, you know, finding her inner strength, then, you know, she starts dreaming and then puts in practice what she's dreaming. So some women, you know, stay in isolation. They don't know how to network. Probably their mothers at home, their wives at home, and then they don't know how to network, where to knock, and even to get skills. So that's how I started Noble Women. And I was blessed enough last year to be awarded a grant from the US Embassy, which had a program which is called Academy of Women Entrepreneurs. And this program is a White House-led program, but it actually fit in my mandate. And when I was, you know, writing the proposal, I was so excited because when you have this passion, you know, sometimes you don't know where to knock. You don't know where to get money. You don't know, but you are just passionate and you want to do things, a lot of things at the same time, but you don't know where to go. You don't know where to start. Yeah. So when I got this grant, I was so excited, and I started writing a proposal, and then finally I got the money. So Academy of Women Entrepreneurs, we now have 35 women. And guess what? I think women in Rwanda are starting to understand, you know, how Rwanda is investing in them and a lot of opportunities that are out there. So we put an application online, and then we got 400 women applying.
Wow.
And we only needed, you know, with the money that we had from 35. And for me, I thought, oh my God, I really wanted that all these women, you know, join Noble Women, the Academy of Women Entrepreneurs, and then, but I know that as we grow gradually, we're going to get more money and actually empower more women. So what we do, we teach them. We use a system that is called Dream Builder. It's an online system, and then they study online, and each week we meet, and we help them. We help them, you know, understand more. We have facilitators. We also have a mentorship program which is now going on. We have like CEOs and other women who come to empower women, we have also speakers who come to inspire. So to inspire them, we have a series of evening networking, which is called Inspire to Aspire, and we invite people to come and, you know, inspire these women. So what I have seen in just 3 months, some women have done wonders. You know, just understanding what opportunities are there, you know, starting their businesses, understanding how to market, how to make their products stand out, all those kind of things, you know. They're now so confident. They're dreaming big, and I'm so excited for them. So yeah.
But just very quickly, can you tell us what is this category of women? What are they like? Are they from vulnerable backgrounds? Are they young people? Are they students? Are they working professionals? Or what's the segment of?
Okay, so
women that you select. So what's the criteria for selection?
Okay, so the criteria of selection. First of all, we selected women who have business ideas, and who have also businesses that are existing, okay. Because after studying and learning from Dream Builder, they are going also to pitch and get money. Yes. So one of the criteria was to have a business that has impact. You know, that it's not just for you to make money, but it's also bringing solutions to the community. Yeah, so that was one of our criteria. Another criteria is to, you know, when you read the description of a business, you understand that this person has a passion. Mm-hmm. And you understand that this person has really, you know, there's something pushing this person to write and to apply. Yeah, so the passion and then the impact, and also because this Dream Builder system is in English, we had to select people who can at least understand English. And then because it's online, we at least basic computer skills. Yeah, so that's what we've been doing. And now currently these women are undergoing a mentorship program. And they are into different sectors, you know. They are into fashion, they are into manufacturing, they are into publishing, different sectors. And in March, they are going to graduate, and then hopefully we'll
March
start.
March 2020, next month?
Yeah, next month.
Oh, okay.
Because we started in October.
Ah, right.
Yeah, so it's 6 months.
6 months.
Yes.
Fantastic.
And then recently, they are going to pitch and then get money and then graduate, and then hopefully with all the energy and the enthusiasm that I'm seeing in them, no one will just drop their dreams and go back to search for work.
Fantastic.
Yes.
I would of course now like to open the panel, the table, to hear from Berna and Charles. These two young, passionate, very infectious energy.
I know.
For sure. What do you think, Berna?
I think it's quite impressive what the two are doing, especially if you have young people who go abroad and come back and try to make a difference back at home. Not everybody goes and comes back, so it's always good, when you have people who've gone and come back. I wanted to ask him if you could give us a sense of doing business in Rwanda. You've done business abroad, you're now doing business back at home. How is it?
I think doing business anywhere, period, it's a maze. It's like, you built something, but now what? Like, who's gonna use it, right? So far what I've seen in Rwanda specifically, the ecosystem lends itself to actually helping, right? Like, I never ever thought that I would grow up to actually own any business here, because I always looked at like rich people like, yo, that person is rich. Like, owning, so just even starting it, right? But there are things that, of course, I don't know, I was naive to, which I think actually being naive to them, helped me start, because if I knew what was coming, I don't think I would have started. So I think like knowing that starting a business is not equal to register a company in RD being your done. You know what I mean?
It's very true.
So yeah, that's the big thing, right? But now you got to worry about taxes. You got to worry about a POS. You got to worry about who are you gonna leave at your company, like right now, who's on my place. Just things that you just gotta be doing business to learn.
This is what they don't tell you about entrepreneurship.
Oh yeah. Like, I think even like, how are you gonna get customers? Like, so for me, for instance, I'll talk about Vroom, for instance, right? So I started with two partners, and we're like, this is virtual reality, so how are you gonna sell something that people don't even know?
Yeah.
You really have to get creative. Or like I teach, how to make apps or whatever, and I'm like, I wanna do it. I wanna teach people here in Rwanda, but how am I gonna get students? How am I gonna get a place to teach them? And the other thing that I realized that, it's kinda like, you wouldn't think about it unless you really, really think hard, the value of free. Free. Mm-hmm. Giving something out for free. Because anybody that's trying to start a business, if they're not looking long term, they want their money right now. Mm-hmm. What am I getting right now? What am I getting out of it right now, right? But when you're looking long term, you're trying to build a brand. You're trying to build trust. You're trying to get people to know what you're doing. Because why would I pay you for anything I don't know if you do it? I've never seen you do. Why would I pay you? Like, you gotta convince me that I have to pay you, right? So those are the things, and I think to me, in one, it's be nice because, man, every young person is on social media. So You know, dropping something real quick on Instagram or Twitter, bah, it blows. You know, so that's how I got my start. So when I came here, I knew this was the longest time I was gonna be in Rwanda, because every time I'll come, I'll be like, you know, for here for like 2 weeks, and then I'll go back. And I was like, you know, when I would be here for 2 weeks, all I did was see parents, see family, turn up, go back, right? And then, so when I was here longer, I was like, you know what? I want to do something that impacts people.
Yeah.
One of my goals for the next 5 years, I want to impact 1 million people. I want to change 1 million people's lives. So I said, what am I going to do now? I realized, man, I teach people how to make apps. Why don't I teach people back home? I mean, these people, at the end of the day, they're the ones that paid for me to go to school. So I'm going to teach them for free. But then there's this thing, it's like, oh, who's going to come to your class, bro? Who do you think you are? You know what I mean? And then I was like, you know what, trust God, brother. So I woke up on a Saturday morning, put the phone on the thingy, and then started recording like, hey, I'm coming to Rwanda, I want to teach, blah, blah. If you want to learn, all I care about, have a computer, have the passion. Here's the link, apply. Like her application, I got like 200 something people.
Oh, that's amazing.
You only prepared for 15.
For 15. And at that point, mind you, I didn't have a place. So as God moves, man, this lady Nicole, she heads Vatel Rwanda. She, like, one of her employees was my high school friend. We went to school together. So she was like, we gotta help this kid, blah, blah. Homeboy called me, he's like, dude, my boss wanna help you. I'm like, please. You know, so I got on the phone with her, she's like, yeah, I got space, come use it. Yeah. So for the whole month, I had 19 students. Basically, all I cared about is you gotta be passionate, you gotta have a laptop. I don't care your background. Yes. Because literally, I've taught people who were mechanics, I've taught people who literally just nothing. And at the end, they're making apps, they're making websites, they're making 6 figures. So I know you don't gotta be no genius, you don't gotta know math or science or whatever.
One head.
One head. 100%. And I feel like it's hard to convince people of that, though. It's really hard to convince people that they got it. So you just gotta walk the talk, right? So
and be consistent.
Consistent, 100%. Be consistent. So for after that month, I mean, I'm telling you, 19 of them. And then the other thing, the goal was to make something. I don't want you to tell me like, oh, I was in this workshop and this is a certificate. I don't give certificates because I think certificates just, I was gonna say something, but remember that. So don't tell me what you know. Show me. Yeah. What have you done lately? Right. So after that, they built every single one of them how to build a portfolio of basically build a website for yourself. And they did. And some of them actually loved it. They loved our whole training, and they keep going and some more. And one success story that I have is 9 of them got, because I'm extreme. So you're my class, man. It's real. So 9 of them got together, started a consulting business.
9 of them.
Yep.
Out of the 19, 9 of them now have their own business.
Yeah, they have a business.
In Rwanda.
Yep. It's called
Amazing.
FinTech.
How is it for her? How is it doing business in Rwanda?
Yeah, doing business in Rwanda. I mean, first of all, I think it's a flourishing country. I mean, it's good, it's easy, but
easy.
Yes. When I say easy, is the policies and the things that RDB has put in place to help entrepreneurs. And what most of people don't know that we are blessed. The markets might be very hard, like to find people who can buy. The purchasing order probably is very low and stuff. But again, what the government is building to actually empower this youth and the women, and there's a lot of policies created to support an environment that is very conducive. And that's why I say easy, not to open just a company, but also to find that the government is caring about the improving private sector and developing the private sector. And what I know is that when you have passion, everything, it's like the backbone, it's like the engine. And then with that passion, you go on the market, you sell what you have, you be yourself, You know, you compete with other people, but also with that passion, you become so creative. You're always thinking, like he was mentioning, you're always thinking like, my target market, what else can I give them? What else can I, bring on the market? And what I have seen with these women, only in 3 months that we have been, training them, some of them have already started markets. And recently I was impressed by a woman. She has a business, she wanted to do agriculture, and she needed a land, like
a plot of land.
Yeah, to buy a land, but she didn't have money to buy land. She went and knocked on a mayor's office and said, I need land. And the mayor was so surprised. And then she got 1 hectare. Okay. I was so surprised. And now she has a contract to actually export broccoli that she had already, she grew. So for me, that's very impressive. It's an opportunity. And she just had to have this confidence and go and say to the mayor, I know there's some land that is just there. Give it to me and I will use it. So now she got a contract. And the brokers have not even yet grown very well, but she has a contract to export and sell them. So I think also that's what I was mentioning about, having a conducive environment. Not every country a woman would go to a mayor and knock and say, yeah, I need land, and then she will get 1 hectare. So for me, I think that's very good. Yeah.
Charles?
Yes, I think we'll probably have a discussion around being easy.
I knew you'd pick up on that.
I must say, Jede, you're the first person in the history of the square that has come here and boldly said that doing business in Rwanda is easy.
Because
congratulations.
I'm so optimistic.
So don't kill it.
No. If you're that optimistic, I'm sure the correct word should have been it will be easy. but that said, you said something extremely important, that without passion you cannot achieve anything. Yes. And I think that's what needs to be at the back of everyone's mind. I remember I come from a background of sports administration, and I have seen a lot of my colleagues, people I know, people I've heard of, people I've associated with, who go into sports administration, I'm giving this just for examples purposes, with different objectives. Without fear or favor, I will say that the guys who have had problems are those who go into sports administration with ulterior motives, without the passion for that particular sports discipline. And the same will apply in business, the same will apply in media. If you're behind that camera, young man with your checkered shirt, and you have no passion for what you're doing, there's just, you're never going to excel. This is as simple as that. If you don't like it, don't touch it. Well, that's it. But I want to throw a bit of a spanner in the works, and I'm going to ask this to Jede or Nelly. It's extremely important to make money at the end of the day. Because even if you don't have to be making a killing, but you have to make ends meet.
Yep.
You have bills to pay, you have rent, you have staff, you have taxes. It's extremely important to make money. During the leadership retreat, I stumbled across something that the Ombudsman uttered, something to the effect that the highest prevalence of corruption is amongst the youth. And apparently this is associated to getting rich quick. The young people are hungry for quick success.
Quick fixes.
Yes, quick fixes. And back to this entrepreneurship story, you cut across there, and there were the 5 of us, the way we are here, we're not necessarily the oldest in the Kigali population. So we are probably the people who are being referred to. So 2 things struck my mind. Okay, fine. If you look at the businesses in Rwanda, the majority of businesses, techie startups, I don't know, in the women network that you have, what age bracket that you're looking at, but in Nelly's business, I'm sure But if there's somebody who is 35, they're probably too old for that line of business. In his line of business, is what I meant. Again, that's a hyperbole. Yeah.
Okay.
But the point I'm raising is shouldn't we be concerned that the perceived hunger for quick success is bothersome? And the reason why I said let me throw a spanner in the works is that we live in different times. Our parents and grandparents did not have the blessings, as Jede said, that we have. The blessings that my children have are not the blessings that I had. So is it their fault that they are dropped at school every day? Is it Nelly's fault that he got a presidential scholarship when probably his parents used to walk kilometers to school? So why should the generation of today necessarily be blamed for hunger for quick success? Yeah. So if the lifespan of our parents and grandparents was 60s, 70s, 80s, today you have 100-year-olds, and we sob because we have lost an 100-year-old grandmother. And yet today you have people dying of disease at a young age. So times have totally changed. Is it a moral issue? Or we're just struggling with appreciating that times have changed?
I think
and that's really the question that every entrepreneur should be asking themselves. Who am I driving my business for? Is it for my business to be appreciated, or to please somebody else who has a different thinking? Yeah, and then at a later point in the show, I'll tell my story around those two lines. But I just wanted to throw that spanner in the works.
But Charles, that's a good question you raise. Speaking to young people who, you said from the Ombudsman Office, the report showcasing that a lot of these cases is a lot of young people in public sector. Is that what you're saying? And I think it's a question to ponder on the different times that we're living in and what the certain behaviors that they foster. These quick fixes, luxury over discipline, and so forth and so on. It's something worth thinking about, especially to young entrepreneurs that ideally should drive forward, our private sector. But I just want us to go to our Twitter feed and read some tweets before we get back to the conversation. And we have the first tweet from Mireille. And Mireille Carrera was actually on the Square last week. And she says that the Square, good point, Nelly Sugu giving trials, samples, or soft access of your products or services to your prospective customer is a fundamental principle of sales. So absolutely, that giving out some freebies from time to time it works in your favor. And then we have a question to you from Richard. And Richard says, I am a fan of virtual reality. But what's Nelly's answer to critics of VR who argue that what you see is not what you get in VR and that VR manipulates minds? Is there a link between these virtual reality environments and young people's mental health and addiction? What's the mitigation?
Wow.
That's a loaded question. Before we go to other tweets, I'd like you to
can I
answer
say something
quickly
about what Mireille said, and probably from a personal experience? I run a real estate practice. I can easily say in our last 11 years of business, easily, about 70% of our business has been driven by people whom you have coffee, a drink, and hang out with for free.
You don't
share your knowledge. You don't bill them for your time. Tell them about what the market is doing, whereas somebody else will pay you a certain amount of money for you to tell them how the market is behaving. And these same people who appreciate your free time, over time, they give you business. So it pays.
It does.
Yes.
It does. I just wanted to finish the tweets and go back to you, but store that question in mind. Virtual reality, addictive, bad for young people's mental health. Very many questions. We also have a tweet from Sunny, and Sunny says that Nelly Sugu's journey to entrepreneurship is quite interesting. His story reminds us that whatever we see in developed countries can also be a reality in our country if only we use our curiosity to learn how to do them. So to the young people, and I know these are young people tweeting back, they are basically, you know, I like the fact that the content tonight is resonating with a lot of them online. So last tweet is from Alois, and Alois states that today's panel is wow, and thanks for upgrading our thinking. I can't wait to see more youth in academia giving more in terms of creating impact, and big up to our government for support that they always provide. Great mindset out there, connecting with the content that you JD, and Nelly are sharing with us tonight. So very quickly, before we come to the end of our show, we have very few minutes left. And what is your response to Richard's tweet?
I think it's philosophical.
Philosophical?
Yep. I think he's just caught up in what people say. I mean, if somebody has
But seriously, there have been virtual reality headsets where people throw up and get sick after for like 2 weeks. Is that philosophical?
No. So that was the technology that hasn't reached its, being ripe, right?
Okay.
I mean, what's the biggest cause of accidents? It's not alcohol, it's cell phones. So, I mean, cell phones bad? You know what I'm saying? So basically, the technology itself is not bad. I mean, with virtual reality, I mean, there are studies that are trying to figure out if it's possible, but like I was saying, I can put you in this chair right now and you scream because you feel like you're about to fall. You can run. People are now starting to ask, can we put that thing on somebody that's never walked in their lives and would they walk?
Wow.
Because they're sending a signal straight to your brain and you just act. You know what I'm saying? So the technology itself, I mean, is it good? Is it bad? I think really what qualifies the technology as good as bad or bad is the application of what human beings use it for. That would be my response.
Your response. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean that's how I look at it, and yeah.
I like that how you turn the question back.
I know.
Turn it back on its head, literally. We're coming to the end of the show. I would like us to just give very quick closing remarks. And I'll start with you, Brenna. You've been, I know, listening tonight, not really saying much, but just on the topic for today, youth entrepreneurship, we've seen how it's important to follow your passion, but most importantly, think about social impact. I feel also as someone who's been as an entrepreneur for the last couple of years, the more it has a social impact, the more longevity it has, the more sustainable it is, and the more it drives your passion. It's not always just about the bottom line. So, this is what we're listening to. Our Academy for Women Entrepreneurs has a social impact on women. You, Nelly, with coding to 0 to 100, as well as Room. Your ideas are to really empower communities in Rwanda with ICT. So, yeah, Brenna, just a few words to close based on what our panelists have said, our guest panelists have said tonight.
I think I'm quite impressed that young people are beginning to think about social good. For a very long time, companies call it CSR, and they do that after they've reached a certain point, and they feel now we have to invest in, in our image. So it's good that, you're building your company and you're thinking about social good. I think sometime this year, Rwanda will host the Social Good Summit.
Is that so?
Yeah, it will. And I think it's quite impressive what they're doing. Secondly, I feel that people dealing with strategy in our institutions should be talking to more to people like him. The reference in around tourism, for instance, that is what tourism will be like in the future. Yeah? Our strategy right now is around inviting people to physically come to Rwanda. What he's creating will actually take Rwanda to where they are.
Fantastic.
So I think people have to start thinking outside the box and maybe engage them to see what they're building. Yeah. Because you may spend a lot of money building, trying to come to us. He builds a software that actually takes Rwanda to where they are.
Very quickly, Nelly, very few remarks, closing remarks.
Yeah.
To our viewers out there.
All right.
Sorry, you don't have time to.
Yeah, social good.
Very quickly.
Social good. I mean, I feel like we're, if I die, as soon as I exit this, what have I done? Have I helped anybody get better? To me, that's what really drives me. The same reason why I created Code 0 to 100 is because basically there's infrastructure, there's fiber optics. You can get on the phone, FaceTime somebody in the States, and that connection does not break. That means, for me, when I'm in the States, for somebody to pay me to sit and do a website or whatever, they pay me about $200 an hour. somebody here in Rwanda could do the same, if somebody here in Rwanda could do it for $20 an hour, do the same work, that person can work 8 hours and make $160 a day. That's, if we can raise the skills of our people, that's how we create jobs, because now those people can give jobs, they can put themselves together. I mean, it's infinite. So I think we gotta say, I mean, what the people above us have done to set up this whole ecosystem where things like that is possible. To me, I shout out to the people that see that vision. So.
And make it happen. We're creating infrastructures, and I know we keep on saying this on the square. Fantastic, create the infrastructures, designate Rwanda as a hub for this, that, and that. But the skills skills are paramount, because without the skills, then there's no point for creating all these infrastructures.
But that's an opportunity for me to come in and create a business creating skills. You know what I'm saying? So, problem, opportunity.
Yeah. Yes.
That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
Very good attitude.
Very good attitude. Jade?
Well,
closing remarks?
My closing remarks will go to the young girls and women that we have a lot of opportunities out there, and a lot of them, I see them fearing to fail. And it's a bad attitude, because there's a lot of opportunities that the government is putting there, a lot of strategies, policies, and Noble Women is there to empower them so that they can be clothed with strength and dignity. So to the women who are there, you can move mountains. So don't think that your dream will just you will just feel like you cannot achieve anything. No, you can achieve so many things. If you can have that idea, then you can do it. You can do it. And also, I wanted to say one more thing, that we shouldn't create business that will not last, that will not leave a legacy. We have to create businesses that are making impact to our community, and then also that will leave a legacy. We see a lot of businesses in Rwanda or in Africa, they last for a year or 2 years, and probably when someone who created that business dies, or he doesn't have, or maybe he leaves to another country, and that business is closing. It closes, and then maybe it was making an impact, or doing something good, but we don't really have this thing of creating businesses that are going to last, that we are going to give to our children and children's children. And yeah, I mean, it's really good to create a legacy.
Fantastic. Charles, closing remarks?
I think she said the most fabulous thing of the evening, which is creating a legacy. There's nothing like quick fixes. You've really nailed it on the head. And the fear of failure. Yeah, it's what usually kills businesses. There's that. I don't know where that number comes from, that few businesses live to see their second anniversary.
First birthday, actually.
First birthday. They rarely celebrate.
Yes, I'm yet to see that statistic, but I hear about it quite a lot. The fear of failure. You can only fail as an entrepreneur. In the public sector, you fail, you're fired. And you have no second opportunity to bounce back. So in entrepreneurship, you have that bit of luxury, because you learn, and you get to better it the next time. So I think the way to go is entrepreneurship. Nelly, Jede, I wish you guys the best of luck.
Thank you.
Happy to support in any way. You could always count on us.
Actually, are you a good father?
No. Earlier on, actually, you, Bana, you were talking about the importance of the word you used was social good. Yes, social good. Happy to support. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Nelly, Berna. Always a pleasure. Charlie, always a pleasure. And to our guest, JD, always great to have guests like you on the show. I've seen some viewers asking how they can rewatch The Square. The Square is rebroadcasted every Thursday and Saturday, I think, on RBA at 2:30 p.m. But most importantly, we are on YouTube. Please visit YouTube and Google The Square Rwanda. We have over 100 videos from when the show began to today, and you can watch any episode at your own time. So also be sure to go online on The Square and Google search on YouTube for The Square Rwanda, and you can watch all the episodes there. To our partners, Uzi Collections and Bourbon Coffee, made in Rwanda, thank you for being part of The Square. And to viewers, thank you very much for watching. Have a good night, and see you again next week.